Good evening Kenya. This is Kenya News Alert. Karibu sana kwenye show yetu ya jioni inaitwa Kenya News Alert Updates. And we have a lot of updates. I'm your host, House of Zulfa. Today is on the 11th of February of 2025. 2 days to Valentine's na bado Felix hana mtu.
Anyway ninafanyishwa harusi ya kukua single. Hello guys, this is Plains and Felix vile Zulfa shasema, and I welcome you to our show, our last show of the day.
Yes.
Yeah. Zulfa.
Yes.
Mimi unajua nimekuwa nikiwatch hao wase hapo hivyo bunge. Hadi nikasema nikimbie niwaone live vile wanacheza kimaneno nini. And in fact I was convinced I was convinced that I cannot be allowed to get into that compound. Yanaweza maliziwa kufanywa Gen Z. But imekuwa drama sana, in fact imekuwa drama sana, and I didn't expect that when the number of big people, or big people, mature and elder people, older, who are heading to be elders,
yes,
when there are many, they can turn that congregation to be just like youths. So I was very amused when I saw those dramas. So I don't know.
You've seen the drama there?
Yeah, I've seen dramas there. I didn't expect that those things can happen in such a manner.
But actually, we've listened to a lot, and you're gonna say, but there's this one woman, Lilian, I think Lilian Goro. Ameongea amesema, why does it matter that who is majority in this thing? We should be providing for the Kenyan people. That is what we should be doing. And that lady, because I don't gonna kuuliza aje before, like, why does it matter?
Kwanza, by the way. Sasa unajua yule MP aliongea hadi akanifurahisha ndo. Huyo mama. Hebu kwanza. Ulimuita nani?
Lilian Goro. I think her name is
Lilian Goro.
Yes.
Unajua ameuliza hivi. You are just here kuvutana hapa na pale.
Time we are wasting time.
Yeah, mko hapa kuvutana hapa na pale na you are just wasting time. Kenyans, they want us united outside there, and they want us to deliver services to them, and you are here just making chaos.
We are here wasting time, asking who is majority and who is what. Who is
majority, who is I don't know.
And this is wasting time and resources. We should be working. Because actually, why does it matter though? Generally, because me before, why does it matter? Why does it matter that who is majority and who is not majority? Kitu, they said that they're going to do for us is they said they're going to deliver services, and they have not been doing that.
Yes.
They've been arguing.
They are supposed to argue over that. Sasa unajua they know very well that majority ni group fulani. Sasa ni nini wanaargue kikubwa hapo, na ni kitu yenye inaonekana? Ni kitu inaonekana?
Yani, some things are just disappointment. Some things need disappointment. Like disappointment. You watch these people and you're like, mnafikirianga aje? Let me ask you something. Wakiwa pale wanalipwa venye mekaa hapo.
Yeah.
So that's why they are
sitting allowance iko.
Is it these nonsensical arguments, because it is money inaingia tu, pesa inaingia Felix. Wakikaa tu pale wana argue vitu venye is not important at all.
You know, they are granted sitting allowance, they are granted fueling, which is going to enable them maybe transport. Transport. They are granted lunch. They are simply wananga agency wakiingia huwa waliharibingi kitchen. Wakitoka hapo wanaenda kukula na huko. they have been arguing over something that kila mtu anaona.
Na si necessary. Mnafaa kwa mna-argue vitu zingine. Hizo ni sana nini mnaenda ku-argue sasa? Zinasaidia nani actually?
Si ni wao. Ni wao tu. Si mwananchi wa kawaida. Zulfa, yes? I have got 2 to 3 questions. I can even question you. You know, number 1, we have got politicians who are member of parliament inside that house. Number 2, we pay them through taxes. Number 3, the same people have got a task that they are supposed to work on. Yes? They really know very well that the majority in that house, it is a certain group. Yes? But they are busy there arguing over the same thing which is obvious, and they even know. They have forgotten that today will never be recycled.
Yeah.
Imepita na hizo nyakati the moments are already wasted. You know.
Yes.
They are forgetting that time is money, and the day wasted is being counted. You know. Kesho tutauliza mmetufanyia nini? Wataanza kutuambia tulikuwa parliament jana, that's why hatukuwa kazi jana. For them being in parliament is good and it is constitutional. In fact, that is what we want. But let them be there with something which is more sensible, that maybe can help the community, the country. Sasa Zulfa, wakati mtu wako huko parliament ana argue over something that he knows.
Like ni content
wanajaribu kutafuta ama.
They are finding a reason to be there wapate mkwanja. An extra reason to be there wakule taxpayers money. Because yani it is so disappointing when they could be tackling other bigger issues, when they could be dealing with other bigger issues, not who is who. At the end of the day, si wote ni wa Kenya tu, kueni pale, work together. We are united front, whether it is Azimio, whether it is UDA, whether it is Jubilee, whether it is what.
Let me take you there.
Okay.
To scare some of them wanasema nini, by the way. Yes.
Ndio kushinda na kuleta zawadi zote. Lakini kwa bahati mbaya umri wako umefika na amefariki. Haina haja uendelee kumbembeleza ule farasi. Haina haja uendelee kumletea chakula ule farasi kwa sababu ulikuwa unampenda sana, ati atamka ndio aweze kukushindia zile mbio ulikuwa unazitaka. Kitu cha kufanya ni kutafuta farasi mwingine, umlishe, umfanyishe mazoezi, aendelee kushinda. Sasa uamuzi huu kwa kifupi umepitwa na wakati. Na najua wanahistoria ni wengi hapa, ndio maana tunazungumza kwa kirefu. Lakini ukweli ulivyo, na sidhani kama kuna mtu ambaye anateshwishi na jambo hili, kwamba Azimio ilifariki. Kama hawataki kuizika ni sawa, lakini tunajua ilifariki. Na uamuzi unazungumzia Azimio ambayo haipo. Sasa tutafufua vipi farasi ambaye amefariki hata kama tulikuwa tunampenda? Ndugu zangu, tukubalianeni, spika tulimchagua sawa sawa. Kiongozi walio wengi ni Kimani Ichung'wah, yuko hapa na bado ndio tuko wengi. Sasa sioni haja tukidhani hata tutamfufua farasi. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a house of rules. Kenya is a country of laws. today, the ruling that will be given about this matter will determine whether the House is a House that obeys court orders or a House that disobeys court orders. There is judiciary for a reason. There is legislature for a reason. There is executive for a reason. But this time, today, the court has issued a ruling. There is no way that a court can issue a court ruling and then it's taken to a police station, and then the court, then people, the police officers, Mr. Speaker, the House, there is no way that a court issues a court ruling, then it is taken to the police station, then you tell the police officers that you guys have a discussion about this court ruling and then decide to the left or right. There is a court ruling. This country is a country that should obey court orders, and we should obey this court order. This parliament should obey the court order. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think on the issues about the position of the Speaker, I was your agent, Honorable Speaker, during that time, and I can confirm that there was no requirement for you that you should be able to resign as the party leader of Fort Kenya. So I think that's something that is passed. On this issue about the majority and minority, Honorable Speaker, as you retreat, I want you to be guided by our Constitution, because in Article 108, it talks of the leader of the majority party shall be the person who is the leader in the National Assembly of the largest party or coalition of parties. And as it stands now, that is Kimani Ichung'wah, is the leader in the National Assembly of the largest coalition. And Junaid Mohammed is the leader of the second coalition in the National Assembly. And the Honorable Speaker, the court gave you a chance that you should be able to rule as it is now. And that is why it talks of ex parte and ante. And therefore, I think it is a new beginning that you are able to rule, and as you rule today, it stands from there moving forward. So it is not a question of going back as after the elections, pre-election agreements, or anything of that nature. I rest my case, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Garissa Mjini.
Yeah, Mjini. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. We have been raising our hands here for quite a long time.
Don't complain, I've given you an opportunity to make your point.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, Mr. Speaker, there is some confusion here in that some people are misinterpreting the court ruling, in that the decision of the court was that a decision has been made on who is the majority and who is the minority coalition in this House. The decision of the court was that, the ruling of the court was that your decision that you made on the 6th of October was null and void. However, who is to make this decision again? It is not for the courts. It is for the Speaker of the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, we have sat here for the whole afternoon and no other business of this House can take place, because a decision has to be made. Can you make that decision, Mr. Speaker? It is upon you, it is with you. The coalitions, this issue is just about numbers. We know the numbers, you know the numbers. Make the decision based on those numbers that you have. This is a political issue. It has nothing to do with the illegal issue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Alice Nganga of Thika.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in 2022, a ruling was done in this House, and Kimani Ichung'wah was declared as the majority leader, and to me, that ruling still stands. Mr. Speaker, National Assembly is an independent arm of government, and whatever business that we do here stands. Courts cannot make laws. It is us who do it here. So when they go outside there and a ruling was done in 2022, and they purport to change that ruling, that making a country to come to a standstill, does it mean, Mr. Speaker, you clarify for us all the businesses that we have concluded in this house, is it null and void? Does it mean everything that we have done in this house does not count? The courts needs to know they stop interfering with the running of this house. And what I have seen from this ruling, Mr. Speaker, these are people who don't wish this nation well. They are outside here because of broad base to scatter everything and the achievement that we have achieved this far. And the only big word I can tell them, washindwe tena sana.
Thank you. Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker. Check. Check, yes. Mr. Speaker, you are up to the task. You are a veteran speaker, you are a veteran lawyer, you are a veteran politician.
And you are senior.
And my senior. The fact of the matter is that now there is a High Court decision. The question would be, what will you do with it? I want to bring to your attention, and I'm sure your staff will bring this to you, the ruling which you made on 8th of June about the issue of political parties, and you are the only speaker who respects the rule of law. You came here, the very first speech you gave was heartwarming, that you came here to protect the Constitution. You came here above all to, please give me a little time, I think we are at the end of the, yes. You came here to, if there is a court order, although you differ with them, although you could have a respectful view otherwise, but you'll obey it. What you said was this on that day, that I think, let me just get it for you. In difference to the directions the court with respect to the appellate administration process, I did notify the House, despite the discomfort of this decision caused on the business of the House. Immediately thereafter, I instructed the liaison litigation question to challenge the speaker. As your speaker, I remain cognizant of the obligation imposed on Article 3 of the Constitution, with respect to defend the Constitution and proceedings of the House. Despite the sympathies I hold for the predicament of the minority party, my hands are tied with regards to the court order. The only question, all these debates in the afternoon are neither here or there. The issue is there is now an order. We wait that you make a decision, and cognizant to the rule of law, which under Article 10 is very conspicuous, we know that you will do it. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Dr. Nyikal. Sorry, Doctor, with your age, we've kept you for so long.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
But Mr.
Mr. Speaker, before the court, the question was, a decision has been made that of two coalition parties, one is the majority. That was what before the court. The court decided that that decision was not correct. And therefore, it stands to reason that the other one must be the majority party. And therefore, what was before you is, as people saying, Mr. Speaker, you'll make a decision, or you will resolve, or you do. What is remaining is for you to implement the decision of the court. But if you take the position, Mr. Speaker, that the status ante is what prevails, then, Mr. Speaker, again, did you have to subject the whole House for this lengthy discussion? All that was there was to let the process go on. And you should have adjourned this House long time ago, because in reality, this House cannot proceed if, as constituted, it has no majority or minority leadership. Mr. Speaker, as regards as to whether you will be fair, sometimes I think justice actually can be beyond the law. You are a leader of a party, it is known. That party is part of a coalition, you are known. They have members that sit in this house. Mr. Speaker, you have to be an angel, not actually to be favor one part. And even this decision, some may be tempted to think that is what actually drove your decision. You are a very experienced lawyer. You are very articulate. You know the law. How is it that you made the decision that the court has found actually not to be correct? So, Mr. Speaker, one, I think we should look at the position that if somebody is a leader of a party, can they be a Speaker of the House? And two,
read the judgment. Honorable Ruth Odinga. I'll give you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I long wanted to speak. First of all, I would like to state that I'm not a lawyer, and I really don't know much about law. What actually makes me puzzled is when I see lawyers who respect the law and decisions made by courts when it favors them. And when it doesn't, then you say that we have quasi decision in parliament, we are quasi whatever and whatever. Mr. Speaker, the court has nullified your decision, and therefore we go back to what I would say is a status quo ante. And in the status quo ante, it was very, very obvious that the party that the political parties declared was Azimio as the majority. So in itself, when we say we go back to the status quo ante, that is the position we are supposed to have. I am not agreeing, I'm not having 1 minute because that is short. Secondly, most of those parties that have said that they are Azimio, those Azimio parties have not left the coalition. They have stated and they've said they want to leave, but they have not left. So as far as we are still here, most of them, they're there. They're still under Azimio, and therefore they belong to this party. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, one of the things you are accused of was impartiality. Even through your demeanor and how you actually are giving people a chance to speak here and how we are, that impartiality still shows. I don't know whether that decision means that you're the one who's going to decide on whether who is going to be, because if it is you, we know which side you're going to go. Please let us have somebody else come and make the decision. Thank you.
Ruth Odinga, you are grossly out of order. You are grossly out of order. Bring a motion and discuss the Speaker, if you wish. Ruku.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, Mr. Speaker, I want to congratulate you and thank you for the leadership you have shown to this House for the last 2.5 years. You have read us with a lot of wisdom and acumen. Also, Mr. Speaker, I want also to congratulate the Majority Leader, Kimani Ichung'wah, because for the last 2.5 years he has done an incredible job. Mr. Speaker, judiciary delayed this ruling for 2 years, and they say, as they say, justice delayed is justice denied, Mr. Speaker. This does not say that the ruling is spot on. Mr. Speaker, the separation of powers, as far as our Constitution is concerned, is a very critical principle which underpins the way the three arms of government should be able to operate at work. Mr. Speaker, if you refer to the political parties, to the registrar of political parties, you'll be able to get the results or the membership of parties within the coalitions. And this will give you a very straight answer on which side is the majority in this House. I am sure this is not a difficult ruling. It's not a difficult thing for you to do, Mr. Speaker. You'll be able to retreat and come up with an answer guided by the registrar of political parties. And I am sure the results will be that Kenya Kwanza Coalition is the majority in this House. And therefore, we stand to produce the leader of majority, the leader of minority, the leader of...
Oundo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, I'm going to close this debate at 6. So those I'll give space, please compose your idea.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As a country, as members of Parliament, we swore to protect the Constitution of Kenya. Respecting a court decision is not a matter of discretion. It is a must. Until the High Court decision is appealed or set aside, we have no other option but to accept and obey the court decision. Honorable Speaker, the ruling has brought us to 4. When is an election held? When are the results announced? And once the results are announced, does any other body in this country have the power to change the composition of the membership of this parliament? Honorable Speaker, elections were held in August 2022. The numbers were very clear. The numbers have not changed. And Article 108 is very clear what becomes what and what becomes what. Honorable Speaker, the ruling you are being invited to make is generally not even a ruling. Until we annul the court order, then we have no choice that the decision you made has been annulled, and the decision you made then was to say Kenya Kwanza was the majority party. The other opposite is very simple, straightforward. That if it was annulled, you have to go back and find the details. Who was the majority party then? Because the decision was being annulled is that particular decision. I do not know what else we are supposed to do. On the issue of your position as Speaker and the member of for the Kenya party, is neither here nor there. Because we leave it to your conscience. Whether it impacts your impartiality or not, we leave it to your conscience. You are an elder. We respect you. We do not want to go into that matter. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Bissau.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I received this ruling and I've read it very clearly. I've also listened to the lawyers in the House, but surprisingly, starting with the first item, whether it is correct for you to remain the party leader of Fort Kenya and at the same time be the Speaker, our Constitution is very clear. Article 77(2), it talks about an appointed officer who shall not hold a political party position. But you are not you are not an appointed state officer. You are elected. And my neighbor here, Dr. Bokosa, I remember he was your chief agent. And many of us voted for you, including my brother, your senior counsel, your learned friend, Atendo Molo, who actually voted for you. So that, we pack it and we leave it at that. And even across the border, your colleagues, Aneta Mong, she's the Speaker of Uganda. She's actually, in fact, even now vying for a position in NRM. Dr. Tulia Axon, she's also an elected person. So there's nothing that restricts you to remain the Fort Kenya party leader and be the Speaker at the same time. On the other issue, about the majority and minority, I have read this ruling very clearly. But again, our courts have not come out clearly to say what is what. And if you look at Roman 3, on their decision, it talks about an order of certiorari is hereby issued quashing the Honorable Speaker's ruling or determination contained in his communication from the chair made on 6th October 2022 on the majority and minority in the National Assembly.
Thank you. Yeah. Give him half a minute.
What we expect is our courts to be giving us very clear ruling. The court is telling you retreat and tell us who is the majority in this case. They've mentioned both the minority and the majority, minority and majority, and they're not saying who is what. So we also expect that our courts give us very, very clear direction. So what we require from you, Chair, is to give us direction and give us a decision to know who is actually the majority and who is the minority. Thank you, Mr.
Yes, Kimani Chungwa. Give him the mic.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine is on a point of order, Honorable Speaker, on a matter of decorum of the House. Because, Honorable Speaker, I was just perusing through what is going on my phone.
Yes.
And I saw the Honorable Selassie, the member for Mumias,
Yes.
is live streaming
The proceedings of the
the
House.
proceedings of the House, recording himself from his seat at the back. Honorable Speaker, the House and the Parliamentary Service Commission has given us live coverage on national TV, and we cannot belittle the work of this House through such uncouth methods as live streaming, recording on your phone and live streaming what is going on in the House, and saying very unpalatable things on live media. Now, request that you ask him to even delete those things and apologize to the House.
Honorable Salasia, is that correct?
Speaker, you know, most of the time when I've been staying here for a very long time without being given an opportunity to speak.
Honorable Salasia, is what is being alleged correct?
I don't know what he's talking about because I don't run my social media platforms. So, Speaker, I've been carrying out my hand.
Honorable Salasia, the issue is, are you live streaming the proceedings and making unpalatable comments along the way?
Speaker, I don't know what the Mheshimiwa Chungwa is talking about. What I just wanted, I also have my own contribution.
Honorable Salasia, be honorable, my dear young man. If you are not honorable, it's very easy for Parliament to ask for the logs on your phone and see what you are doing. If you say it is true, then the Speaker will take some other remedial action. If you don't, it's a matter that can find your way to the Powers and Privileges Committee with unintended consequences. Why are you doing so?
Maybe, Speaker, maybe I'll have to confirm with what he's talking about.
Honorable Salasia, you know dishonesty is not a virtue.
Speaker, I don't know what he's saying. Maybe I go and confirm what he's talking about, but I had also just raised my hand so that I can speak what I feel that I should speak.
Order, Honorable Salasia. I believe when you are in the chamber, you are listening and following proceedings. Take your seat. You are listening and following proceedings. And what we are discussing this afternoon is a very serious matter. The independence of this House is an issue. The leadership of this House is an issue. And every member who has spoken here, you've listened, your seniors, your peers, have been very focused. Even members who have sat for a long time, you complain that you've been raising your hand. There are many, Lotte here has been sitting here since. We have Ferdinand Wanyonyi here, Amze, has been sitting here since. The issue is, were you streaming the proceedings live and making comments along the way? Comments that your colleagues are saying are unpalatable. And that is the issue that has been raised by the member for Kikuyu.
Speaker,
you've even forgotten to switch off your phone. It's still streaming, I'm told.
Here. So I don't know, maybe Honorable Chungwa can say maybe what I've said.
Honorable Salasia, what I'll do is I'll instruct the clerk to get the logs on your phone. And if I find that what is being alleged is correct, then I'll invite a member to file a complaint and refer to the Powers and Privileges Committee for appropriate action. You can also be named. Yes, Wamumbi? Yes, okay. Robert Mbui, I'll give you an opportunity to contribute. Clerk, proceed to get the details on Honorable Salasia's phone and furnish with the Speaker immediately. Robert Mbui, proceed to contribute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, first I find this debate a little misplaced because I don't know whether as a House we are supposed to be discussing court rulings and, because I thought that generally what we do with court rulings is implement them. But we have spent the whole afternoon discussing this issue of the court ruling, whether the judges were right or they are wrong.
Robert Mbui, if you
Mr.
listen
Speaker,
to the beginning, don't take us back. When Emile Odhiambo, who is your leader, raised the issue, you are here. And the House was given direction by the Speaker. So I expect your contribution to tell the House which way you want us to go. But to go back and say for the last 3 hours we have been exercising in futility, you are taking a wrong trajectory. I know you are senior and a leader, should have given you an opportunity at the beginning, but you also started off by very unorthodox conduct.
Mr. Speaker, I was only trying to claim my position as a deputy leader of the majority based on the ruling that we read of the court. But Mr. Speaker, the issue of majority, which is what we are discussing, is not an issue, in my opinion, that's supposed to be decided either by the Speaker or even this House. This is a decision that is made by Kenyans when they cast their ballots at the end of the last, at the elections. And Mr. Speaker, even the issue of that you are supposed to make a ruling or you are supposed to say who is majority or minority, Mr. Speaker, really what you are supposed to do is convey the information that has come from the from the register of political parties when they indicate how many members are in each coalition. So, Mr. Speaker, I think that what is happening in Kenya now, Mr. Speaker, and why I think we are having this problem is because parliament and politics in Kenya has become very indecent. Mr. Speaker, it's important that when people are elected in a certain coalition, they spend their 5 years in that coalition. And Mr. Speaker, if anyone feels that they do not want to belong to that coalition, the law is also very clear that you can go and seek a fresh mandate. But you know what we have been doing here, Mr. Speaker, is that people are elected in one party in the middle of the term, they jump ship and go to another party. Our leader, Raila Amolo Odinga, was in a party and he was dissatisfied. He left, went for a by-election, was re-elected, was brought back to the House. This business of people just crossing, I think, Mr. Speaker, is a problem, and that is why we are here today. Otherwise, I want us to respect the court ruling. Majority is the Azimio, and the minority can take up their position on the other side. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Robert Mbui. Ferdinand Wanyonyi.
The Speaker, thank you very much for the chance. I think I've sat here and
Don't
I've listened
complain.
to
Just go on.
contribution to everybody else. I think I should retreat to go to look at this, Mr. Speaker. I think the best thing is look at the coalition we had before election and after election. See which coalition has which numbers. And that if you have got the number, you don't be able to know who the members are. And given that, you can be able to, because as I see, we are late.
Order, Women Rep Migori.
Yeah, so
yes.
Order.
Yes, go on, Ferdinand.
So what I was saying is that, the Speaker, as you retreat, I think we need to look at the coalition. If it's Azimio, how many people are there? Because people have moved out, the others have come in. See how many, Kenya Kwanza, how many people are there to be able to know who the majority is. It's as simple as that, so I can be able to move forward. I raise my case.
Thank you, Kimani.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. On the issue of whether the Speaker is supposed to belong to any particular political party, the law is very clear on every appointed and elective position that this country holds. And I've looked, and there is nowhere that has a requirement. Where the law has required that a particular person belong or not to belong to a political party, the law has expressly said so. Honorable Speaker, studying this judgment, paragraph 493, just to read verbatim of this judgment, says, it will be remembered that our Constitution at Article 99(1)(c) only singles out the Speaker as the ex-officio member of the National Assembly, unlike all the other members because of his special status. Honorable Speaker, the judges that were making this ruling not even bother to read what Article 99(1)(c) of the Constitution says. If you read Article 99, 1C of the Constitution, and to read it verbatim, it says qualification and disqualification from election as members of parliament. So one, unless disqualified under clause 2, a person is eligible for election as a member of parliament if the person, A, is a registered voter, B, satisfies any education, moral and ethical requirements, C, is nominated by a political party or is an independent candidate who is supported. And therefore, even the reference to that article of the Constitution that they purport to quote for this particular judgment, Honorable Speaker, is not what the law says. And therefore, the question we're asking ourselves, should then the judiciary either interpret the law or make the law? Because even by them quoting a reference that completely unrelates to that particular judgment, creates an attempt to make a law, which they shouldn't do, their work should be to interpret. My submissions, Honorable Speaker.
Before I give the next, Honorable Salasia, I'm told you want to not to contribute because you are under quarantine on the issue raised. The clerk tells me you want to say something to that?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that whatever Mheshimiwa Ichung'wah said, if I felt like maybe it was in bad intention, maybe I apologize. But Mr. Speaker, also, as we people...
Order, Honorable Salasia. Were you recording? Because you say if, you know, it's like there's no remorse. If you are recording, it is not permitted by our standing orders. So if you did that, I want to guide you as a young member, and I want you to grow in your leadership. There is a lot of decency, and the Bible says the greatest word in human relations is one word called sorry. If you did that, say sorry and delete those logs, and we go on.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, I apologize and withdraw and delete.
Delete all those logs and let the clerk confirm. Waluke John.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this chance. Honorable Speaker, the ruling of the High Court.
After Waluke, I'll give 2-3 others, then we close.
The ruling of the High Court, Speaker, was overtaken by event because it has taken almost 3 years, and the case was filed with the certificate of urgency, where the 3-bench judge could have acted very quickly and gave the ruling immediately. Mr. Speaker, there is nowhere where it says that the Speaker cannot hold any political office, Mr. Speaker. There's nowhere. So, Mr. Speaker, make the ruling on the side of majority and minority, Mr. Speaker. These two, the difference is very little in terms of, there's no difference in terms of salary or in terms of working, Mr. Speaker. So time is, there are people now aligning themselves politically for the next general elections, Mr. Speaker. So time is of essence, and we plead that, I plead that, Mr. Speaker, the members of this House also need to consider that we are almost going to elections. So the two should be left the way they are, the majority and the minority. I don't see any hedge that can force to say that.
Timothy Kipchumba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Article 3(1) of the Constitution provides that everyone has an obligation to respect, protect, and uphold the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, we therefore as a House have that obligation to respect the court decision. Honorable Speaker, the decision of the court, the effect of it is that it declared your ruling a nullity. Honorable Speaker, however, I have read that ruling. Honorable Speaker, I beseech you not to proceed to issue a direction on this matter until this matter is appealed before the Court of Appeal. Honorable Speaker, there are unsettled matters in that decision that must be subjected to the test of the Court of Appeal. Honorable Speaker, one of the issues touches on your election to the office of the Speaker. Honorable Speaker, you may not be able to render a decision on that particular part of the ruling. Honorable Speaker, so that we are safe as a House, it is good to subject, if we can get a stay, so that the status quo, not status quo ante, but the status quo before this ruling obtains, then, Honorable Speaker, it will be safe and it will protect this House. Honorable Speaker, whichever decision you make in this House, it will have a political impact. So, Honorable Speaker, my opinion is this decision is appealed. We retain the status quo as it is, not the status quo ante. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Okay.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Reading through the ruling of the High Court, Mr. Speaker, it makes me to believe that you are a better qualified lawyer than the three members that made the ruling. Why am I saying this, Mr. Speaker? One, I listened to the ruling 3 years after, Mr. Speaker, in a matter that was filed as a matter of urgency. And then they are giving the ruling 3 years after. It tells you about the dysfunctional court systems that we've got. Because if they can do this in this House, in a matter as weighty as this, Mr. Speaker, what are they doing to the common mwananchi? How are those cases of the common mwananchi ruled? The last one, Mr. Speaker, is when this decision was made in October 2022, Mr. Speaker. I am a member of the Azimio Coalition. We contended that year, Mr. Speaker. But that time, we had 171 members of the Kenya Kwanza Coalition, and of the Azimio Coalition, and 165 members of the Kenya Kwanza. But, Mr. Speaker, there was a letter that was written by several members of the Azimio Coalition, and 14 members exited. And it is based on that, Mr. Speaker, that you made a decision and say that because the 14 members have exited the Azimio and have gone to the Kenya Kwanza, then the Kenya Kwanza becomes the majority party. The Political Parties Act number 10, Mr. Speaker, is very clear about that 21 days after an election, the political parties can shift, and as long as they write letters and officiate their agreements, then it is accepted. 6th of October, 21 days had elapsed, and I think and I know that you got those letters. So you made a ruling, Mr. Speaker, that I...
Rahim, you've made your point. Rahim.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first of all, you are not a leader of the Luhya nation. You are a national leader, so I want to correct that misinformation which was done earlier. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, 2 members of parliament have cast aspersions on you, and I think it was completely out of order. I was here when Speaker Muturi was being impeached, and he was on that seat where you are now sitting. So I think the 2 leaders need to apologize. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, we as the independents, I think we are not being counted at all. Because if Azimio said there were 174 and Kenya Kwanza is 165, the 10 members who aligned with Kenya Kwanza makes it 176. So, Mr. Speaker, Azimio is just a name which is there. Mr. Speaker, it's stillborn. It's not at all anywhere where ODM is on its own, Wiper is on its own. So let us not be told about Azimio, Mr. Speaker. Like one of the members has asked my friend Honorable Junet, where is the address of Azimio, and he does not know. So Mr. Speaker, this one,
Azimio does not exist at all. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I can be shouted down, but Azimio does not exist.
Member for Kinango. He will be the last.
Mheshimiwa Spika, kwanza nataka nikushukuru na kwa sababu dakika ni mbili, niliposoma judgment hii nilikumbuka mwaka 1982 wakati litangazwa hapa nchini kwamba kuna jaribio la mapinduzi. Hii judgment tuiangalie kwa jicho jingine, kwa sababu naona kama kuna njama kutoka kwa mahakama kujaribu kuipendua bunge hili. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati unapokwenda kupumzika na kuandika hii judgment, ni mpaka pia tujue tunaelekea wapi. Mwisho, Mheshimiwa Spika, tunaishi kama familia tunapokuwa hapa bungeni. Lakini naomba niulize wale ndugu wanaojiita kwamba ni watu wa Azimio, je, huu mnaofanya ni ungwana? Kwa sababu hatuwezi kuwa wakati wote tunazungumza tukijua kwamba sisi ni jamii moja. Mahakama ilitoa maamuzi ndio, lakini ilipewa maombi 34 na ikajibu machache, 6 hawakuweza kujibu, na hatujamaliza siku 14 za kukata rufani. Leo tayari hapa tuko katika kizimba, kana kwamba tulikuwa hatuwezi kusubiri siku 14 za rufani ndio mambo kama haya yakaletwa. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, naenda ukakae chini, lakini kumbuka kwamba kitengo chetu cha mahakama kina njama fiche ambayo hatujajua lengo lake ni nini, Mheshimiwa Spika. Lakini sisi kwa sababu tunaheshimu mahakama, tutakata rufani na matokeo ya rufani ndio yatakayokuwa yanaweza kuongoza mwelekeo wa jumba hili. Lakini mambo ya jumba hili yatamalizwa na nyumba hii, si watu wa mahakamani kuja kutupangia tutakwenda kwa njia gani. Mheshimiwa Spika, nafikiri wanafahamu vizuri kwamba hii nyumba ina kinara, na kinara ndiye atakayetoa maamuzi yake ya kujua kwamba tutakwenda namna gani kama bunge. Kwa hivyo kwa hayo
Wanjala, what is it? Yes, let me hear the point of order from the Deputy Speaker first.
Honorable Speaker, earlier when I had contributed to the debate, I did notify the House that during the time during your absence, when the court case came out, I asked the clerk of the National Assembly to write to the Registrar of Political Parties confirming
the arrangement of parties and the numbers together with their coalition agreements. So I want your permission, Honorable Speaker, to table it.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
And table them and pass them on to the clerk. Wanjala, what is it, Wanjala? I have said the Kinango member will be the last.
I just want to debate equally,
okay,
Mr. Speaker.
Be the very last. You have 2 minutes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
No. He had. No.
Mr. Speaker,
Wanjala had not debated. He just rose on several irrelevant points of order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is true, Mr. Speaker, without any doubt in my mind, that, Mr. Speaker, it is true.
Yes.
And he is Speaker.
Clark,
some of us have been. Point of order, Speaker.
Yes, Karani.
I am been raising up my hand from the time we came in, and Wanjala has spoken.
I will just seek an opportunity to speak instead of making Wanjala reference. Wanjala has been rising on several irrelevant points of order, but he has not contributed. Okay, after Wanjala, I'll give you Karani to close. Okay. Wanjala, give him the mic.
Mr. Speaker, I know you as somebody who understands law. Mr. Speaker, in this House, not all of us are lawyers, not all of us are competent to critique the ruling of the court. Mr. Speaker, you have been in courts. You always know that court orders, Mr. Speaker, anybody with doubt, always go for appeal. If you are not in doubt, then implement it. Mr. Speaker, when we are here and each one of us is trying to debate, is trying to say what he wants, some of us are not competent as lawyers, and we want to talk about the rulings. Mr. Speaker, we are going nowhere. Mr. Carol Omond was very clear on what is supposed to be done for us to resolve this issue. Mr. Speaker, anybody who is aggrieved will always go for court of
Wanjala, there is
appeal.
a point of order from member for Matuga. Yes, Tandaza. Go ahead.
Is the honorable member in order to say that we are not competent to discuss a matter before us? Is he in order?
He's out of order. And he's discussing. Go on, Wanjala.
Therefore, Mr. Speaker, we have a procedure to withdraw from coalitions. You just don't write letters right, left, center. We have a procedure to move out of our political parties. You have to resign, you have to go back for re-election, for a by-election. So anybody purporting to have withdrawn as an individual from anybody purport to have withdrawn from Azimio and yet did not follow the procedures, Mr. Speaker, that is still null and void. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, we call upon you that we don't want people wakupake uchafu. You are clean. We want you to do a proper thing by giving Azimio their rightful position. If anybody is doubting, go for appeal. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Kirima. After Kirima, we close.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mine will be very brief, but just to state what the Constitution says, that this House and the courts and the executive, they are just creatures of the Constitution. And the Constitution has to be respected as it is. This House being a quasi-judicial body, it ought to have its own independence without being interfered with by any other body, because all the bodies, the three bodies which are creatures of this Constitution, cannot be interfering by each other. And by the time the ruling was being given, being an officer of the court and having been in the court for quite a long period, the court usually asks if it's intent to give a ruling as pertains to the status quo of a position. What is the status quo, or what is the position at that time when it is deliberating the ruling? And in this issue, the court gave the ruling as it was in the year 2022, which means it has taken a lot of about 3 years before it can give the ruling on the status quo of the position. And things have shifted, because when it comes to politics, and the interpretation of the law as it is, status quo is not cast on a stone. It shifts as per the situation on that material particular time when things are taking place. Mr. Speaker, sir, if you can allow me, if you look at Article 95 of the Constitution, Article 95 of the Constitution states very clearly that, Speaker, the law of the National Assembly, one of it is that the National Assembly represents the people of the constituencies and special interest in the National Assembly. But second one, it says that the National Assembly on issues which concerns the people. What is being debated in this House today concerns our people, because we have been given that rule and that provision by the Constitution. And Mr. Speaker, it is true, as it is today, Kenya Kwanza government is the majority in this House, and we cannot deny it in all aspects. Taking into account that now we're even on the broad-based government, whereby almost all members are on one side, other than few dissenting members of about that 5 members. So as it is, we should not negate what has already been earned in this House by Kenyans, because what we are doing now is just a public relations exercise. And as for that, this ruling, as it will be appealed to, it will come to be seen that what the Speaker gave us a ruling of this House is going to start. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Honorable members, I think we have ventilated sufficiently on this matter. since 2:30 to 40. I want to thank the Honorable Millie Odhiambo for raising the matter that triggered the debate. I want to thank all of you for the tremendous input. Each one of you has had their say, except a few. To those who haven't spoken, like Martin Owino and Mulyunge and others, even when it rains, it doesn't soak everybody. Sometimes it soaks a few and others get away. So I want to tell the House I've looked at the documents that the Deputy Speaker has tabled, and they are genuine and admissible. They'll form part of our direction. And I want to direct the House, one, that the matters at order number 8, which was Constitution of House Business Committee, is stepped down for reasons that you all know. 2, we will, as expected, not sit tomorrow morning because we have no House Business Committee to prioritize or program business for the House. So tomorrow morning you have a free morning. We will assemble at 2:30 tomorrow. I'll try and see if I can burn my midnight oil with my clerks and lawyers, sift through what you have said today, all of you, and advise you accordingly in the afternoon in the direction I'll give. Remember, as I said, the court quashed the decision and the ruling of the Speaker on the declaration of majority. The court has no capacity, has no power to declare who is majority and who is minority. That is a matter for the House. This is a matter for this House, and we will give you direction so that you can continue with doing your legislation, your oversight, and your representation roles in guiding our country so that we don't lose time. Thank you so much, all of you, even those who threw brickbats at the Speaker. The Speaker is seasoned, the Speaker is mature, the Speaker is used to this kind of thing, so I have no time to begrudge anybody. Whenever you want to say anything against the Speaker, do it as long as you are doing it in good faith. I'll take it. If you do it maliciously, of course, then it begs Wanjala can deal with you. So on that note, honorable members, can you be upstanding? The House, honorable members, stands adjourned until tomorrow, the 12th of February 2025 at 2:30 p.m. Suffice to mention that Honorable Bukose, you must be here to give your statement on SHA tomorrow.
Yes. At some point, I do question myself, why do you think these issues are going on in our country? And at some point, I do convince myself that everything that happens with a reason. Umeona chenye kimemfanyikia Peter Salasya? Peter Salasya anataka kuleta drama zake ni kwa wazee. Eh?
Alikuwa TikTok alikuwa like double tap. Nini.
Peter Salasya ako serious. Peter Salasya ako serious. Yeah?
But that's how it is though.
Yes.
Nakumbuka Flako akisema ya kwamba inafika place upate like our bunge wanaingia live sawa kupitisha all those things, kupitisha hivyo vitu vyote. So Selassie is embracing that, like double tap, mnasikia hivyo wanabonga wase. And then unasikia he was commenting bado hapo na watu. Sawa? And we amedeny akadeny mpaka kwa like okay fiti basi bila sijakubali nimefanya hivyo but pole. Sawa? And Kimani Ichung'wa man ni mplainer.
Bana.
Ni mplainer.
Huwa ninajiuliza maswali sana. Why most people wanakaa ku I don't know niseme vipi, but wanakaa kumchukia huyu msee.
Selassie?
Hapana.
Kimani?
Yeah, Ichung'wa.
Ichung'wa sino Kimani? Umesikia amefanya nini? Ametoka kukota kuja kusema chiki mode na sketi huyu anabonga huku nyuma. Like why? Was it necessary though to do that? Was it necessary for Kimani to do that? Yule mja mkuu dada kwa anasema eti huyu anafanya, huyu anakopi, huyu anafanya, ndio hivyo Kimani amefanya.
Lakini sasa si yeye ni kama prefect wa parliament, lakini upande wa majority. You know, at some point Peter Selassie huwa anakuwa joka nini?
What it you know today nilikuwa naangalia kwa nini ya Eric. Sawa? Na Eric anaika ya kwamba Mr. Selassie alikuwa na stream anavaa nguo, anafanya grown. Do you know there's this thing called grown? GRWN. Yeah, mademo ufanya like navaa hivi nikienda dates, navaa hivi nikifanya all that. He was doing that for parliament, but for parliament. Anajiprotosha na dunga hii ya red na hii whatever, naenda parliament nini and then akafika parliament akaanza kustream akiwa parliament. What is wrong with that though? Nini, tell me what is wrong with that, Felix?
You know, when you know very well that you are a role model to people, more so those people you are representing from different areas, that make up your constituency. Not all people who supported you maybe can be so proud when you do make some of the jokes, some of the when you make some sort of fun. You know, you really need to keep yourself official to some point. Wakati unataka kwa address akina Felix akina Zulfa.
Well, Felix, let me ask you, is every Gen Z right now watching KBC?
No.
So kuna yotangalia kitu TikTok. So he is going.
Are you trying to justify what he was trying to do? Was that not a drum? Was not
comments? Me, I'm like he's going with the time. Sawa. Comments.
Poa sana. Thank you so much. Things are worsening for Kenya Kwanza. Yeah, unajua, let me tell you the truth. Wakati watu mnajigundua, watu you really know what you want, when people you really understand what you aim for, you cannot allow prevailing moments to control you if you are not supposed to be controlled by the prevailing moments. Yes, baba watoto, no, anasema nini? No, I don't know, anamaanisha
point ilikuwa inaendelea pale.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The process of whatever.
Poa sana Kim. Good evening, guys. Good evening to Kim. We really miss you, sir. And we were questioning ourselves, where is our number one fan? Zulfa alikuwa anasmile nikiuliza, lakini sikuwa najua kumba alikuwa anajua you were just watching from far. So maybe Zulfa. Kamera iko kwako, mbona unashtuka?
Oh.
Yeah.
Why do you
tell Kim vile tulikuwa tumemiss? Umwambi amekataa kukwambia bro, so we really missed you. Ni ile sasa nakaa ku pretend kidogo. I don't know where Peter is.
I'm looking for words. Sasa ni nini si?
Haina shida. Hebu kwanza nikuulize, are you trying to justify whatever nani Peter Selassie was doing?
I think Selassie is going with the times. Kuna there's a Gen Z out there that won't go to KBC to watch, but the moment they'll see Selassie ana stream akiwa parliament, they might be interested, and let us go with the times. waanze kuingisha si KBC peke yake, waanze kuingisha hizo stuff Instagram,
Zulfa,
YouTube.
Things cannot be done the way you are thinking, my sister.
Things are gonna go there. Things at some point gonna go there. Hebu ni kuzikitambo kwa ni radio moja. Ilikuwa nitakuaje radio ya Mama Mbotela.
Bado ni KBC.
But there's a way it used to be called.
Sauti ya Mkenya.
Sauti ya Kenya.
I don't know. I don't remember. Yes.
And you used to have one radio in the entire community, chief.
Yes.
Sindio? And you used to go there.
Yes.
Sindio?
Yes.
And you evolved with time.
Yes.
Mkakuja kabaki kuna mtu mmoja kuna TV yenye ni black and white, and then there was colored, and then hivyo tu we grew and grew. Sawa. So we tuko hapo sahi. Mnafaa kustream hizi stuff mpaka TikTok. Mstream Instagram, mstream sijui nini. Upate jamaa akiwa kwa base ya Jaba anaangalia parliament ikiendelea.
But let me tell you my sister, you have to remember that when it comes to this government official meetings, they really need to be honored. At some point, truly, some of the aspects that we are undergoing right now as Gen Zs and this generation of ours, our generation right now, truly they are not official. Not all the issues that can be totally
What
official.
if they open a KBC?
Unajua, like they can be, let me tell you this. Let me tell you the truth. When at some point we can employ kitu kama yenye Salasi amejaribu kuemploy akiwa hapo. Unajua Salasi ni mtu mwenye ako half mtu mzima, half akina Felix na akina Zulfa, sawa? Sisi ni wale watu wenye tumezoea vitu ambavyo vinaka vya starehe, vitu ambavyo vinaka fun, nona? We as youths, we really like making things to go. We really making things appear fun. And truly remember, this is a government that is going to be affected. Wait, that is going to be affected, you know. So some of the aspects that zinakaza vijana, we really need to keep distance from them for the well-being of the official government that we see. Tukianza kujaribu kupeleka all the aspects za vijana huko hivyo, we need to be so free enough and whatever, our arms of the government will never be official. I'm telling you the truth. Will never be official.
Let's evolve with the time. Ingekuwa pale kwenye cradle of man, kama wangeona fire na kwe like, unajua tumezoea kuhunt and gather.
Yes.
You don't know what is fire.
Yes.
Atungekuwa sahi.
Yes.
Sawa.
Yes.
So kama hao ni Homo sapiens ama nani wali invent fire. Sawa.
Ni Homo erectus.
How? If the other ones could have said no, then we couldn't be here. So let us evolve with time. Yes?
Yes.
So Bwana Felix, tunaweza fika kwenye tamati ya kutamatisha. Sure.
Zulfa. Shortly please. Before tufunge, I'm just trying to tell you this, my sister. These officials, these government officials, these politicians, they have decided to take their time, you know, to do what? They have decided to take their time to sit in parliament to discuss about this issue. Unajua kuna mmoja mwenye alisema like the justice delayed is justice denied. Sawa? Before we wind up, I really need to make you understand that truly there are some of the issues that some of the members of parliament wame mention hapo zinaka very sensitive. Sawa? But from my side, ninajaribu kumuonea huruma sana Ichungwa. Sawa? Because truly they have been operating something which not something, they have been operating with a dominance which doesn't belong to them. You know, and they really need to understand and accept, because this is all about our government. And I don't know kama kutakuwa na any problem ama ni wanaogopa like the moment the Kenya Kwanza people are going to take that the Kenya Kwanza are going to take that position, they are going to withdraw the government. What do you think?
But nimesikia kwamba watu wanarukaruka kwenye vyama. They are elected by one party but when things get I mean the going gets tougher, wanaenda wakirukaruka to other parties.
Is there any problem is there any problem hata kama watarukaruka kwa hizo parties but they maintain kwa coalition ya Azimio? Is there any problem hata mtu akiama kutoka kwa party moja kwenda kwa party nyingine lakini party yenye kwenda Azimio? Will it count for?
But why you rukain though? Why you rukain? Mwa rukaruka.
Pia si mzuri, si ndio?
Si utulie tu place moja. Tulia miaka 5 ziishe, we go to another party. Of which nasema is not like illegal, but hapo unaweza kuharibu vitu. Na kuna huyu babu moja pale amesema ya kwamba that according to the courts it was Azimio that was was ruled as the majority. But when the speaker was adjourning the whatever, he said that the court doesn't have power there, it is the house that has power. Yule kwanza bwana Weta ni Wetangula, si ndio ndo speaker?
Yes. Yani yeye.
Party gani?
Yule ni mse wa UDA.
Oh, no manake.
Mbaya sana. Mbaya sana. Mbaya sana. How sure are you that is going to rule out this political issue?
He's going to be biased.
Yeah?
He might
are you sure he's going to support what is going on?
That Kenya Kwanza should be, Azimio should be. Kuna comment pale.
Kenya is daily. Anasema they will realize Rails, eh? Yeah, thank you. Rails is a party destroyer by profession, and as we speak, he is on course to finish KK, and it is surely done. It is just a matter of time. Hey, what do you think, my sister?
Raila. They will realize that Raila is a party destroyer by profession.
Yes.
And as we speak, he's on course to finish KK, and it's surely done. It's just a matter of time.
Are you sure? Are you sure, sir, wherever you are? I don't know. Zulfa.
Yes.
What do you think?
When you go to the history of Mr. Raila.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Kwenye kuform Ford K. You go to Ford K. Miaka ya zamani. He dismantled that party akajoin KANU ya Moi. Even after Moi was trying to kill him and tortured him for all that.
But
time.
he decided. He decided.
So maybe this
he decided to join.
Is speaking the truth, because according to history.
Anyway. You didn't made it clear. I questioned you over Salasia.
Salasia.
Yes.
I said I support him fully. Fully.
But
because
why?
we shall go. Let us go with the times.
Yes.
The times ziko hivyo.
Yes.
At some point hiyo parliament mta stream mpaka TikTok. So maybe asijikomentishe vitu ambavyo vina kama
zenye zinakuwa personal.
Yeah, that one he shouldn't do, but maybe stream, yes.
But unadhani ni nini Salasa anaweza comment hadi umbe yule mse?
Comment anyway.
Eh?
I just comment ila kwa like cheki Kimani kinabonga ne. With that person, simwekei whatever he's doing ni forward thinking, but kujikomentisha sasa kwa mbonga shit sana. Because nasikia video lola comment pale, maybe ana comment kuhusu Kimani, naona Kimani amekuja kusema. Akuja akasema ule mjamaa anabonga shit pale nyuma. So maybe, yeah.
Anyway, I really appreciate the same during the same time there was a woman. I think to mention yule MP anaitwa nani? Alisimama kawauliza. Lilian. What are we seriously discussing about? What is what do you think being majority, being minority will ever help the country?
How is it helping?
People are waiting outside there to see people are waiting us outside there.
Yes. Yes. Millie Odhiambo, you know Millie Odhiambo is a controversial lady. Yule madama ubonga man. Sawa? Na yeye ni mtu wa Azimio. Yeye ni mtu ya baba. Sawa? Yeye na baba is like, you know. So Enda may bring this whole thing. So she's not doing it for us, she's doing it for her and her I'm going to say her political father.
Yes.
Yes. So inatusaidia aje? Inasaidia aje common mwananchi? That is a question.
Yeah.
Question. Do you know Emialade? Ndio usema hivyo question. That is a question now. How is it helping common mwananchi?
How?
You're wasting time, you're wasting resources because obviously mumelipwa. Hizo masaa zetu mumelipwa.
Yeah, wamelipwa. I don't think kama niko na imani na all the members of parliament we have in the country right now.
Why?
Niaje mtu anasimama kuingilia mwenye na comment social media badala waendelee na motion basi. Mbona ana get so inamuingilia? Mbona inamfanya na feel so personal?
Polisi amesema yeye ni nini? Kwa ile kitu ya jana alisema aje? Alisema aje jana?
Alisema aje? Alisema ati amekubali yeye ni mke wa nani?
Wakasongo.
Wanaoma sana. Thank you guys for joining us. This is Plinson Felix. Yes.
Yeah, this man stampia kim anything because amekugotea tu wewe peke yako.
Kwa nini?
Amekugotea wewe.
So ndio maana ulitulia.
Ya normally nyamaza.
Bro, salimia Zulfa.
Tuko hapa sisi moja alafu anasema eti Felix ni aje? Are you serious? No. So sema your name, I say my name, we go home.
Thank you so much guys. Zulfa maybe ameanza kukatch kwa sababu one of the fans hajamsalimia and I really appreciate you guys for joining us. This is Plinson Felix and I wish you all the best and I really love you guys for joining us. Tunakuanga live daily. Kujanga tuna discuss kidogo, at least tunajua what we are supposed to do, what we are supposed to do and what we are supposed to avoid, what we are supposed to support. Politically this is a home of politics.
The heart of politics. Na bado unajua bado hii National Assembly ikiendelea kulikuwa ile Senate what? Kulikuwa na Senate what?
Yeah, proceedings.
Yeah, of which we shall get kesho asubuhi.
Yes.
Kesho asubuhi hapa Majaliwa inshallah. Kesho, that is what we will be discussing.
Na mimi swali langu ni hili. Je, tutawaamini wabunge?
So umeanza sababu Bozela ameshaaga, umeanza je yako. Umeanza je wako jaba. Sindio? Because these people need drama. Like you look at these people and what they like those hours you've taken to tackle with that, like what is that?
That is what they could manage. Yes. Okay, some of them are totally working. Some of them are working, but some of them are just there because they want to impress what their destiny and interest wants. As I said, this is Plinson Felix and I really appreciate you guys for joining us. Thank you. Wacha tukutane kesho asubuhi by 8. Thank you so much.
Okay. We thank you so much for joining Kenya News Alert updates, evening updates. We enjoy every time with you. We thank the ghost viewers. Peter, I don't know where you are, but I miss you. Nataka ujue hivyo. And we thank the people that have commented there. So, my name is Zulfa. Tupatane kesho Majaliwa inshallah hapa asubuhi kwenye morning tea show.
Bye guys.